Alrighty. Let's talk about day two, Wholescaling live. There's the, I don't know what you call these things. Thing I put around my neck. Anyways, another really exciting day. The speakers that have been brought to this event, each have been on point, very practical, great inspirations. Not selling anything, right? You often hear, they're not going to be sold to, and sometimes that's not always true. The team has been giving nonstop, very well done. Kind of break down what I took away from day two, kind of in chunks. I'll probably do a bigger write up on this because there's just been so much. But given I did a day one summary, I wanted to make sure I would do a day two. So the day got started. A gentleman named Antoine talking to us about how he runs his business with virtual assistants. If you don't know what that is, basically they have resources out of country, often the Philippines, that speak good English, that get trained, and can do tasks such as cold calling, cleaning data, producing content, managing Facebook pages, all these other things for very, very little money. You do need to work out schedules and process and procedures and these things, but as Antoine shares the story, he is now taking deals start to finish with virtual assistants and running his business. So very cool to see. Takes a lot of work, but you basically become process and procedures, manage to KPIs, hire, fire as needed, and build the infrastructure from there. So very impressive story. And Antoine, congratulations on all your success. Next up was a gentleman named Jamil, and Jamil has an interesting story that he shared. Basically, born in Southern California, went to Canada, had some success, lost it all, came back, and now has built a tremendous business with him and his two partners. And he does something a little unique, at least the first time I've heard it in this meeting, is he is 100% focused on dispositions, right? So we're at a wholesaling event where most folks talk about direct mail, ringless voicemail, RVM, text messages, SMS, basically how do I go find motivated sellers? Jamil's like, forget that, right? You go have fun with that. I'm going to build a business all around disposition. So when you are having trouble selling what you have found, right, your buyer's list is not as deep as it should be. Bring it to me and we will do some kind of split. I think it's a genius idea. First off, no marketing costs, right? He's not reaching out to sellers. And he's just waiting for the wholesalers to bring him inventory and gets a piece. So clearly he has expenses in the application or the software and all of that, but it's no marketing cost, right? So very, very cool. And Jamil is crushing it. I don't actually remember the numbers, but I want to say it's like 65 to 85 deals a month. Wow, that's crazy. Then we brought a gentleman up named Lee. He was advertised as a house flipper that's done 9 figures, several $100 million in flips over his career. Very interesting story, broke down what it takes to be the CEO of a big business like that. Really what I took from his conversation is watch out, right? The market's changing. It's not going to be as easy as it was. Protect yourself. I don't want to call it sobering, but if you're paying attention, you'll realize what worked the last 10 years won't work potentially the next 2 years. So I thought that was a great presentation. And as someone who invested starting in 03, I think he's 100% correct. So Lee, great job, and thanks for trying to protect people. Then we brought up Nick, who really is talking about hiring and firing, right? A lot of the people that we are talking to are building out teams, acquisition managers, operations teams, disposition, talked about that. So he ran through how to do that because, again, hiring and firing, hire slow, fire quick is a big part of some of these businesses. It's certainly not where Olivia and I will play, right? One of the big goals I have and she has with me is we will never have employees, right? We don't want that, need that. But still, he brought the fire and value, and you can see that people were just all over what he was sharing. So it was an excellent presentation. All the presentations were great. The one that kind of stuck out to me was a gentleman named Pace, Pace. He oozes, helping people. I mean, he just pours out of him his willingness to help, and he even goes on to tell stories that it's often, a thank you and a hug or whatever that is makes him feel better than getting a $10,000 check. And most people that say that, I don't believe. But I believe Pace 100%. You could just see the way he acts. I'm now following him on Instagram, and I think he's a special human being. In addition to that, he's brought up, if the market's truly rolling over, like Lee talked about earlier, it's probably good to add another bag of tricks to your bag to acquire inventory. And he did a fair amount of talking about subject to for the acquisition, and then lease option, which I thought was a really, really exciting topic. And I have already reached out to him to try to get him on the one rental at a time channel, this channel here, so we can do an interview and talk about that. I almost envision Pace being two interviews back to back. One is his story, so you can all hear it. I thought it was awesome. And then the second one kind of going into the flexibility, creativity behind subject to and lease options, because I thought that was a wildly exciting topic and potentially one of the best ways to help people and profit probably for the next 24 to 30 months. So Pace, keep doing what you're doing. And then we brought it home with Jamie and RJ, really talking about mindset and the like. I thought Jamie's story was pretty interesting, how she got started. Young lady who wanted to get into real estate in the beginning, did not have the support of her significant other, her husband, and then went to her father and didn't have his support either. And she still went after it, right? She stayed up late, as she talks about it. Kid went to bed. She got a real estate license in the evening, sacrificed sleep, and went after it. Finally, went back to her father all along where her husband was not supporting. Got a $5,000 loan from her father, and went about securing her first property and making $30,000 on a flip. So I just thought that story was interesting. I hear it all the time where one of the significant others is non-supportive, and went after it. So good for them. So in the end, I thought it was a great day. A lot of excitement. The people have clearly been giving from stage. They all have. You can all see yourself in what they're doing. I thought they've done a good mix of interjecting topics, so you don't feel like you're repeating anything, which was really cool. And I look forward to day 3. So at the end, glad we came. It's been a lot of fun. And have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.